Hello, fellow critics. Welcome back to the alley. The show still trying to make more episodes than there are a number of Pokemon, which shouldn't be too hard, right? Oh. Well then. Gotta catch 'em all? Today we're pulling out our Pokedexes to do a little more digleting into the dark world that is Pokemon. Question. How many of you remember that Great War in Pokemon? You know, the one that Lieutenant Surge talks about? The reason that most of the adults are probably not around? It's okay if you don't. A bunch of people forgot, both in and out of the game. I went ahead and I'm going to hit your guy for 10. So you have 90 life. Particularly Ruby and Sapphire, which allegedly takes place at the same time as Red and Blue. But I'm getting ahead of myself. One thing at a time in this mess of Pidgey droppings. So the war. War never changes. Not even for the Poke folks. It was a pretty big deal because of all the missing people and unanswered questions. I doubt they all moved to a farm up north and spend their days picking Oddishes and Bellsprouts. So what happened? Well, we mostly have what we can gather from different sources. Gotta go full Detective Pikachu on this one. So there seems to be a large conflict that has absorbed Kanto and Johto as well as the Unova region. Unova, which is based off of New York. In America, a place known for wars. Ironic, right? Kanto is our first entry point into the Pokemon series, and as mentioned with Surge, the clues are closer than wild Zubats in a cave. I pointed out earlier the mysterious lack of adults who aren't gym leaders in organized crime, tucked away in the mountains, or hiding as Hypnos. Those weird things always gave me bad vibes, man. But you know how your protagonist has no father? Neither does your adversary, and quite frankly, it shows in his attitude. That guy could suck Grimer sludge. All the able-bodied, of-age men who don't seem like obvious draft dodgers are MIA. They couldn't have all gone out for smokes and never came back, right? I'm not just gonna ride my Magikarp out Route 19 and come across Deadbeat Dad Island. So Kanto at least seems to be involved in a conflict, which would make sense as to how Team Rocket can grow at such an alarming rate with only children around to stop them, according to the games at least. Since we know Johto is right next door, it's very likely they got escape roped into some nonsense. Like a tentacle from some sort of horrible... But wait, you might find yourself asking, who are they fighting again? Well, a lot of people are pointing to a region called Ore. A deserted wasteland once filled with abundantly more life. It's like the whole place is currently living like your ex when they ran out of PP and had to struggle. It's very likely that this crime-ridden Sneasel pit once housed a great threat to the rest of the world. And it had to be Eternatus-level chaos for them to wipe it off the map like they did. Like, you know how when you beat the Elite Four and then you're going back through the game and you accidentally ran into one of the youngsters that you didn't beat the first time and now you've got Mewtwo on your team? Yeah, that level of chaos. I would even guess that that's where Giovanni hails from, because that crocodile is moving in and out through the series like, among the gym leaders, bikers, fishermen, and nerds, we find one eccentric young genius named Bill. Real important guy, that Bill. You meet him up in his Scooby-Doo villain lair, nonchalantly swapping consciousness with random Pokemon for whatever reason. We help him back into his original body, he gives us a ticket to a fancy boat, and that's about it for now. The problem, as I alluded to earlier, is that some of these games apparently take place at the same time. Red and Blue take place when Ruby and Sapphire do, as well as Diamond and Pearl happening at the same time as Gold and Silver do. We know this because at the start of Diamond and Pearl, they show a news report broadcasting about the red Gyarados over in Gold and Silver. You know, the star of the last episode. We also know that Gold and Silver happens 3 years after Red and Blue. I mean, the games literally say it. A deleted tweet from someone directly involved in the Pokemon games gave us a timeline of sorts. This timeline declared that, as I stated, Ruby and Sapphire happened at the same time as Red and Blue. It's all connected, which is fun, but didn't really make sense to me at first because the technology between Red and Blue and its cohort Ruby and Sapphire seem vastly different from two places that are only geologically separated. Everything from the Pokedex being Gen 1 and not being able to have apps in Red and Blue, to the fact that Hoenn has a freaking high-tech weather machine, and Kanto is only using boxy corded phones and computers and TVs. And the most damning piece of evidence, our first screen that we can move around in Pokemon Red and Blue shows our character sitting in front of one of those boxy fat TVs with the Nintendo Entertainment System, an NES, right in front of him. Brendan and May have a friggin' GameCube. So either Kanto is a region of overbearing poverty, which would make sense if it's an allegedly war-torn nation, or there's something else going on as well. Of course, I overthought it, and guess what? I fixed it! I figured out how to make the timeline make sense. So let's hop back to Red and Blue for a minute, because that's where the timeline begins. You kick Brock's butt, you go up to Bill so you can see his science magic. Thanks to him, you can hoard Pokemon like a shuckle suckling berries. You catch the Pokemon, beat the gym leaders, and machoke the life out of Team Rocket. Finish the game, become the champion, credits roll. Pokemon Silver and Gold come out and you take Ethan on his quest through Johto. You learn a lot about Pokemon and once again find our eccentric friend Bill happily messing with the fabrics of creation. Oh yeah, Bill made a friggin' time machine so you can trade Pokemon with the past. You know, because Red and Blue take place in the past and you want to be able to trade your Red and Blue Pokemon with your Gold and Silver Pokemon. But I think trading is just a cover. It's a distraction, like telling me he's lactose intolerant. What am I gonna do, team up with Whitney and her evil cow and lace his drink with moo juice? Turns out, Bill is a great collector of Pokemon, common and rare alike. In the manga, Bill is kidnapped by Giovanni and forced to work on Mewtwo with the others. Even Pokemon Don Corleone recognizes his prowess. The books get wacky though. Let's not focus too much on those right now. It just so happens that Bill seems to share this ability with the mythic Pokemon of the region. Number 251, Celebi, is literally the time travel Pokemon. I would argue that this is clearly no coincidence. I'm saying that Bill and Celebi met. I'm saying that Bill managed to find a way to move through the chronosphere. The trading with the past is a cover, and I'm suggesting that Bill did something amazing. Like when you catch an Abra with the first Pokeball you throw, which, coincidentally, is another awesome thing Bill did. I'm saying war affected a lot of people, took things away from a lot of people. Bill found a way to fix that. That's right, I'm saying Bill went back in time and found a way to stop the Great War from destroying Kanto. Think about it, if Bill went back in time, diverted the war, then there would be more adults and more hands to create more things, new technology, new buildings, new societies, instead of having to rebuild with less hands. Allowing the kids to have a GameCube during the time the original kids at the Red and Blue era had a Nintendo. So what I'm proposing is technically in the timeline, Red and Blue happen, Gold and Silver happen, Bill takes his time travel trip, makes the different change, Ruby and Sapphire happen when he lands again, at the same time Red and Blue would, because he would want to return to his time, approximately. Maybe he's not perfect at it. And it continues on with Diamond and Pearl along this new timeline, which is just a looped version of the same events of the original one, happening with the addition that not everyone is dead. How wonderful is that? That would kind of explain how there's weird differences in the Let's Go world as well. Pokemon Legends Arceus not only confirms time travel, but also that humans can go and directly affect time with their time travel. Also, trading with the past is a perfect way for shiny Pokemon to proliferate and get into the past, where they didn't exist before. I told you it was gonna wrap around. Once you confirm that time travel happens, things get as wacky as the Zelda timeline. So it seems that Bill may have managed to save some people from the Great War, or still may be gone, but you know, it might be for the best. Especially if making a preemptive strike was able to save countless lives. Next time you're out there transferring your Pokemon mindlessly, maybe stop and give Bill a salute, because that guy is basically a war hero. Catch you next time. Critically yours, the Fox.